Welcome to Horoscope Reads, the place where zodiac truths aren't sugar-coated. If you want raw, honest astrology that cuts to the bone, subscribe, hit the bell, and drop a like now. Today, we begin our countdown of the most manipulative zodiac signs, from the least controlling to the true masterminds. Keep your heart steady. Some of these portraits will feel uncomfortably familiar. 12 Aries, too impulsive to plan elaborate manipulations, but dangerous in their immediacy. An Aries woman rarely plots like a chess player. She doesn't scheme in shadows because she rushes toward whatever emotion consumes her. And that speed is both her salvation and her blind spot. Her attempts at control are usually raw and unrefined, sudden ultimatums, thrown like torches into a room. Dramatic gestures meant to shock you back into attention rather than a slow, calculated takeover. She can weaponize spontaneity, a surprise fight, an abrupt departure. A bold confession acts designed less to deceive and more to force an immediate reaction that proves you still care. Aries manipulates with heat rather than frost. She sets fires so that the smoke brings you running, hoping the alarm will rekindle what her words cannot maintain. There is a cruelty in that rush. She will say the thing that wounds because she wants clarity now, even if the honesty is a tool to bend you into revealing more than you intended. Impulsivity can look like honesty, and she uses that confusion, "I'm just being real," to justify incendiary comments that leave you scrambling to explain yourself. Her ego craves validation, and when threatened she doesn't calculate. She erupts, and in that eruption, she watches how you scramble, learning where your loyalties break so she can prod again later. Aries also manipulates by daring you, issuing challenges that tug at pride, daring you to prove your love, daring you to match her fire. It's a dare that often reveals more about you than it does about her. When guilt becomes an instrument, she is clumsy but effective. A sharp lament, a theatrical apology. Tears summoned on demand, gestures that pressure you into making amends. To quiet the storm. She hates being ignored, so she engineers attention with boldness. Sometimes that means fabricating drama where there was none. Because any spark is better than being invisible to her. Beneath the bravado sits vulnerability, the knowledge that if she truly slowed down and asked, she might be abandoned. So she chooses control by motion. If she moves first, she cannot be caught off guard. Her manipulation rarely has the long game in mind. It is a series of vivid no-or-never tests that keep you off balance and emotionally available on her terms. Painful truth is that Aries can convince you they acted from passion when the motive was fear. Passion masks strategy, and fear hides the tiny, deliberate prompts that steer your reactions. When she tires of the consequence, she often regrets the hurt she caused, not always because she meant harm but because she wanted proof, and she got it, proof that you still answered her call. To be loved by an Aries is to live with the daily question, am I responding to love or to the manipulative spark she's set to see if I burn? That ambiguity is her quiet, dangerous skill. If you survived her storms, you understood she rarely planned elaborate traps. She simply used immediacy, charm, and the blunt truth like tools, to test, to provoke, and to keep you close sometimes. Clumsily, sometimes with painful precision. 11. Taurus prefers stability over games of control. Yet when provoked, their manipulation is slow, deliberate, and quietly persuasive. A Taurus woman is rarely obvious with her schemes. She does not chase drama, yet beneath her calm exterior lies a patient mind always calculating the safest path to bend situations in her favor. She manipulates through comfort and routine, knowing exactly which habits, which words, which small gestures will guide someone to meet her desires without overt confrontation. Her stubbornness is her secret weapon. Once she sets her mind on an outcome, she quietly nudges events and people toward it, like a river carving its course over centuries. Taurus rarely threatens with chaos. Instead, she uses the promise of stability as a tether, gently coaxing others to comply simply to maintain peace and familiarity. Emotional leverage is subtle with her. She may withhold warmth or approval until someone demonstrates loyalty or patience. Teaching lessons without raising a finger in anger, she knows the value of timing, and her manipulations often unfold over weeks or months, appearing as coincidence, intuition, or simple luck on the part of those around her. Her loyalty can be a trap. Those who take her devotion for granted will find themselves subtly but unmistakably redirected to align with her expectations. Taurus can make guilt a quiet instrument, reminding you of past favors, of sacrifices, of all the ways she has remained patient until your conscience guides you back to her preferred outcome. She manipulates through scarcity. 2. not of possessions but of attention, a moment of absence, a withheld conversation, a subtle delay that has you longing for her guidance and approval. Her desires are anchored in material and emotional security. She will use all available means to protect them, and often, that protection takes the form of quiet, untraceable influence. Taurus understands human weakness, fear of loss, desire for comfort, longing for acceptance, and she wields these quietly, adjusting pressure like a sculptor shaping clay. Her manipulations are never flashy, they are woven into everyday life, disguised as care, practicality, or gentle persuasion, leaving others unaware of the subtle forces steering their choices. She is patient in a world of impulsivity, watching, learning, and waiting for the precise moment to act, often ensuring outcomes that feel inevitable to those around her. Her greatest skill is the illusion of choice. She sets the boundaries and options so carefully that even when others think they decide freely, the outcome is already hers. Taurus may never appear on a manipulative list for overt cunning, yet the depth of her subtle control is undeniable, a quiet gravity that draws the world toward her will. To truly understand a Taurus manipulator is to recognize patience as power, persistence as persuasion, and calm as the most effective form of strategy hidden in plain sight, moving mountains silently. 10. Sagittarius, free-spirited and adventurous, they rarely manipulate with malice, yet their charm and optimism can subtly influence those around them in ways they may not even fully intend. Sagittarius is a wanderer at heart, valuing freedom above control, yet their infectious enthusiasm can draw people into paths the Sag has imagined, sometimes bending reality without overt schemes. Their honesty is often a tool of influence. By speaking boldly and confidently, they can guide decisions and inspire actions without appearing controlling. They manipulate through vision, painting vivid possibilities of adventure or growth that others cannot resist following, feeling like their own choice even when steered. Sagittarians wield humor and wit as subtle instruments, diffusing resistance and opening minds to suggestions they otherwise might reject. Optimism is their silent persuasion. By framing situations as opportunities rather than dilemmas, they inspire compliance without force. Emotional intelligence is high. They know when a soft nudge or gentle encouragement will achieve the desired outcome faster than confrontation. While they rarely hold grudges, their memory of past experiences allows them to quietly influence events, reminding others of lessons learned or adventures missed. Sagittarians use curiosity as a lever. They encourage exploration of ideas or actions that align with their own desires, making followers feel empowered rather than manipulated. Their sense of timing is impeccable, knowing when to offer advice, when to stay silent, and when to make a subtle suggestion that feels like inspiration. They may plant seeds of thought casually, but those seeds grow into actions that fulfill the Sagittarians' intended outcomes, often without anyone realizing it. Freedom-loving as they are, they understand human tendencies and can gently shape choices by appealing to instincts of desire, excitement, and growth. Their influence is rarely sinister. It is a dance between spontaneity and foresight, guiding others while maintaining the appearance of spontaneity. Sagittarius can turn a suggestion into a movement, a mere idea into a collective decision, making manipulation seem accidental or coincidental. They inspire loyalty by shared adventure, making people want to follow, not because they are forced, but because the Sagittarian makes the path irresistible. Even when unaware, their persuasive energy can alter decisions, shape beliefs, and steer relationships. A quiet mastery of influence, hidden beneath carefree laughter. To encounter a manipulative Sagittarian is to feel free yet guided, adventurous yet subtly led, enchanted by the illusion of choice, while dancing to a rhythm only they fully understand. 9. Virgo, the quiet manipulators of the zodiac. They rarely seek attention, but their precision and analytical minds allow them to influence situations subtly, often under the guise of helpfulness. Virgo's manipulations are not born from malice but from a desire for perfection and control over outcomes. Ensuring things unfold as they believe they should, they observe relentlessly, noting every word, gesture, and hesitation, storing information like a strategist preparing for a decisive move. Underneath their calm and composed exterior lies a mind constantly calculating how to guide circumstances to the most favorable result. Advice from a Virgo may feel casual, yet it is carefully constructed to lead someone down a path they may not realize is influenced. Their criticisms, often veiled as guidance, can subtly mold behavior, making others adjust without realizing the gentle pressure applied. Virgos exploit logic and reasoning as tools, presenting options in a way that aligns with their objectives. While giving the illusion of choice, their patience is formidable. They wait for the perfect moment to act, quietly observing as events unfold to maximize their subtle influence. Emotional intelligence is wielded sparingly, used only to understand what buttons to press without leaving visible fingerprints of manipulation. Their meticulous nature means no detail is too small to consider. Every fact or flaw, an opportunity to guide, influence, or correct. Virgos can make people feel as though they are acting freely, while every step may have been nudged, softly but decisively, in the direction the Virgo desires. Their perfectionism drives them to ensure outcomes are not just acceptable but ideal, often leading to subtle orchestration behind the scenes. Even their silence is a tool. The absence of comment or reaction can provoke thought, steer decisions, or shape behavior more effectively than words. Virgo's influence is like water flowing around stones unseen, persistent, and inevitable in its effect. They manipulate, through service and assistance, offering solutions that seem spontaneous, yet are carefully designed to guide outcomes. Trust is earned, but once given, a Virgo can gently steer events while maintaining the appearance of neutrality and helpfulness. 2. Encounter a manipulative Virgo is to feel guided, corrected, and inspired all at once, often realizing too late that every move was quietly shaped by their insightful hand. 8. Capricorn, the strategic manipulators of the zodiac. Capricorns wield control with patience, precision, and an almost imperceptible presence, shaping outcomes with careful planning and foresight. Capricorns are deliberate, rooted in a desire for success and stability. They rarely act impulsively, preferring calculated steps. They observe, analyze, and wait, always assessing how their influence can produce maximum benefit without overt interference. Every word a Capricorn speaks may carry double meaning, testing, or planting seeds of thought in subtle ways. They understand power dynamics intuitively, knowing who to sway, when to act, and which strategies will bear the most fruit. Their ambition fuels their manipulative tendencies. They bend situations quietly, ensuring their climb remains uninterrupted. Emotional intelligence is their secret weapon. They read people like open books, discerning fears, desires, and weaknesses to gently guide behavior. Unlike more impulsive signs, a Capricorn's manipulation feels seamless, invisible, and often leaves others questioning how they arrived at a particular decision. Patience defines them. They can wait years for the perfect moment to act, letting time itself assist their influence. Subtlety is key. Capricorns rarely use force or pressure, preferring indirect strategies that shape circumstances almost imperceptibly. They are masters of restraint, knowing that overreach can ruin both their plans and relationships. So every action is measured. A Capricorn's guidance may feel like advice, mentorship, or suggestion, but underneath lies careful orchestration of outcomes. They leverage respect and authority naturally, making their influence appear consensual and earned rather than imposed. Even their silence carries power, communicating unspoken expectations and creating space for others to align with their vision. Calculated rewards and consequences are their tools, shaping behavior without confrontation or overt coercion. Trust, once given, is rarely abused, but Capricorns use discretion to ensure that subtle nudges lead to desired results. To be manipulated by a Capricorn is to feel as if you are acting freely, yet every step, every decision, and every outcome has been quietly guided by their patient, strategic hand. 7. Pisces, the zodiac's emotional manipulators. Pisces wield feelings like a painter uses a brush, crafting moods and guiding hearts with subtlety and intuition. A Pisces manipulation is rarely overt. It flows like water, invisible yet powerful, shaping the emotional landscape around them. They sense vulnerabilities instinctively, understanding what others fear, desire, or secretly crave, and use this insight with delicate precision. Compassion is their camouflage. They comfort, empathize, and listen, all while gently steering decisions in directions that serve them or protect their world. Their soft, almost ethereal presence makes it difficult to recognize when influence is at play, as if the guidance is coming from within rather than outside. They are masters of emotional persuasion, able to elicit guilt, sympathy, or love to shape outcomes, without ever demanding obedience. Dreams and promises are their tools, Pisces can paint a vision of hope or fear that feels so real it compels action. They manipulate without aggression, making it almost impossible to confront them without doubting your own perceptions. Pisces' creativity extends to their strategies, often blending fantasy and reality to gently mold thoughts and feelings. Their fluid nature allows them to adapt to any emotional climate, bending circumstances subtly without ever breaking their gentle facade. They may sacrifice their own desires, on the surface, giving an illusion of selflessness while quietly guiding outcomes behind the scenes. Music, words, and gestures become instruments in their manipulation, each carefully chosen to evoke the desired response. They thrive in ambiguity, leaving room for interpretation that leads others exactly where Pisces intends, all while maintaining an innocent exterior. Their secrets are well, knowing when to reveal and when to conceal amplifies their subtle influence. A Pisces' manipulations are deeply psychological, often leaving those around them emotionally entangled, unable to trace the source of the influence. They rarely act out of malice. Their manipulations are protective, artistic, and emotionally intelligent. Yet their power over hearts can be intoxicating and dangerous. To be under a Pisces sway is to feel guided by intuition, kindness, or destiny, unaware that every pull, every encouragement, and every hesitation has been carefully orchestrated by their fluid, mysterious hand. 6. Leo, the zodiac's commanding presence. Leo wields influence like a king wields a scepter, commanding attention, loyalty, and subtly steering situations to their advantage. Leos are masters of charm and magnetism. People are drawn to their warmth, confidence, and charisma, often unaware of the subtle currents guiding them. Their influence is bold yet calculated, using admiration as a tool to create alliances and manipulate outcomes without direct confrontation. Leo's pride fuels their manipulation. They know how to appeal to ego, flattery, and desire to bend situations in their favor. They are experts at reading the room, understanding who holds power, who is vulnerable, and who can be swayed with a compliment or a challenge. Leos rarely need to lie outright. Their presence, their words, and their actions carry authority that shapes decisions naturally. They understand the art of timing, knowing when to assert dominance and when to let others believe they are in control. Leos can manipulate through generosity, offering attention, praise, or gifts that subtly create obligation and loyalty. Their social intelligence allows them to orchestrate scenarios that highlight their strengths while subtly nudging others into desired roles. Confidence is their shield and sword. It disarms resistance and makes others more pliable to their vision. They can inspire, lead, and direct emotions effortlessly, making people feel motivated to follow their lead. Even when the path benefits Leo most, behind the warmth and charm lies a keen strategic mind, calculating interactions and outcomes with precision. Leos can be theatrical, using drama and flair to steer attention and subtly manipulate perceptions. They rarely need to be secretive. Their influence is overt, yet so captivating that it often goes unquestioned. Their loyalty is a double-edged sword. They reward allies lavishly, but manipulate subtly to ensure they remain indispensable. Even in disagreement, Leos command the narrative, often turning situations to their advantage through sheer presence and persuasive skill. To be around a Leo is to be subtly guided, inspired, and sometimes ensnared by their radiant confidence, leaving you both uplifted and quietly under their influence. 5. Libra, the zodiac's diplomat. Libra manipulates with grace, subtlety, and an almost invisible touch, making influence appear as fairness and balance rather than control. Libras are experts at reading emotions, desires, and motivations, understanding what makes each person tick and how to sway them without overt force. Their charm is their primary weapon. They use flattery, empathy, and tact to guide people toward choices that serve Libra's agenda. Conflict is Libra's enemy. They manipulate to maintain harmony, often bending truth or nudging situations to avoid disruption while still achieving their goals. Libras excel at presenting multiple sides of a situation, making others feel like decisions are mutual or fair when Libra subtly orchestrated the outcome. They can disarm resistance with a smile, a compliment, or a carefully worded suggestion that feels like consensus. Their social intelligence allows them to network and build alliances effortlessly, often gaining influence without anyone noticing the subtle hand guiding interactions. Libra's sense of fairness can be weaponized. By appearing just and neutral, they gain trust while quietly shaping decisions in their favor. They are patient manipulators, willing to wait for the perfect moment to act or speak, ensuring maximum effect with minimal effort. Libras are master negotiators, turning disagreement into compromise that benefits them subtly while making others feel satisfied. Their persuasion often comes cloaked in charm, making it difficult for people to see the underlying intent or resist. The gentle push. They can make people feel heard, valued, and understood, all while nudging them toward Libra's desired outcome. They manipulate not through intimidation but through elegance, wit, and social grace, creating influence that feels like collaboration. Libra thrives in environments where diplomacy is needed. They use tact, logic, and subtle emotional cues to guide situations toward their advantage. Even their indecision can be strategic, allowing others to reveal desires and weaknesses, which Libra later uses to maneuver outcomes. Beneath the soft-spoken charm lies a calculating mind, constantly assessing how to balance influence, relationships, and personal gain. To engage with a Libra is to be gently guided, persuaded, and sometimes unknowingly aligned with their plan, all while feeling the interaction was your own choice. Point for Aquarius, the visionary of the zodiac. Aquarius manipulates with intellect, insight, and a detached precision that few can see coming. Aquarians are masters of strategy, often observing quietly before making a move, understanding the bigger picture and the nuances of human behavior. Their mind is a labyrinth of possibilities. They can subtly guide opinions and decisions without appearing to intervene at all. They manipulate not through emotion but through logic, reason, and the allure of innovation, presenting ideas that seem irresistible. Aquarius knows the power of information. They share details selectively, influencing perspectives while keeping their true intentions hidden. They can appear eccentric or unconventional, which distracts others from the careful ways they shape conversations and outcomes. Their detachment allows them to act without being clouded by emotion, making their influence precise and effective. Aquarians often challenge the status quo subtly, planting seeds of thought that grow into decisions aligning with their vision. They understand human nature deeply, using intellect to appeal to ideals, morals, and logic rather than manipulating weaknesses overtly. Aquarius can be a silent puppeteer, guiding situations from the background, leaving others believing they acted independently. Their charm is cerebral, sparking fascination and trust that makes people more open to their suggestions. They excel in group dynamics, subtly steering discussions, votes, or plans in the direction they deem best. Aquarians thrive on innovation. Their manipulations often appear as helpful guidance, creative solutions, or a new perspective. They rarely act rashly. Patience is their tool, waiting for the perfect moment when influence can be exerted with maximum effect. Aquarius can gently challenge beliefs, making others question assumptions and gradually accept new directions they subtly introduce. Their influence is long-lasting because it often appears as inspiration rather than control, making people willingly follow their guidance. To encounter an Aquarius is to engage with brilliance and subtle power, leaving you changed without ever realizing the true depth of their orchestration. 3. Gemini, the wordsmith of the zodiac. Gemini wields language like a sculptor wields clay, shaping reality with charm, wit, and mercurial precision. Geminis are natural communicators, their voices carrying both allure and influence, capable of bending perception with a single sentence. They can present multiple sides of an argument, creating confusion or clarity depending on their intent, keeping others off balance. Their dual nature makes them unpredictable, which is their greatest asset in subtle manipulation. No one can anticipate their next move. Gemini's mind is a maze of ideas, each one a tool, a diversion, or a trap, deployed with timing that feels effortless. They thrive in social settings, observing, listening, and collecting secrets, all of which can later be wielded to their advantage. Their humor can disarm suspicion, masking subtle nudges and suggestions that redirect decisions and feelings. Geminis can charm almost anyone, their adaptability making them appear trustworthy, while they carefully guide outcomes behind the scenes. Their curiosity drives them to understand desires, fears, and motivations, information they use to sway others without overt coercion. Words are their playground. A Gemini can twist statements, reinterpret events, or selectively share truths to shape reality. They rarely need to confront directly. Their influence is fluid, moving like air, unnoticed yet pervasive. Geminis can create alliances and rivalries, simultaneously, balancing relationships in ways that favor their ultimate goals. Their duality allows them to play multiple roles, keeping their intentions hidden while others act as if freely choosing. They are masters of perception management, knowing what to reveal and what to obscure, leaving people uncertain and malleable. Even when playful, their impact is significant, often leaving a subtle, lasting imprint on thoughts, decisions, and hearts. Gemini's manipulations are rarely malicious. They are strategic, adaptive, and designed to achieve their personal aims while maintaining charm. To face a Gemini is to be captivated, challenged, and subtly redirected, often without ever realizing the invisible hands at play. 2. Cancer, the emotional strategist. Cancer wields feelings like a seasoned general commands an army, using empathy and intuition to guide, influence, and, when necessary, manipulate with quiet precision. Cancers are deeply attuned to the emotional currents around them, sensing vulnerabilities that others might not even recognize in themselves. They build trust slowly, their warmth and attentiveness drawing people in, creating bonds that can later be subtly leveraged. Their memory for emotional details is uncanny. Every slight, every joy, every fear is cataloged and ready to influence future interactions. Cancer's home and heart are both tools they nurture and protect, but also hold invisible levers that can sway those closest to them. They often appear selfless, yet beneath this gentle exterior lies a strategic mind that knows exactly when and how to act. Cancers can make others feel deeply understood, a tactic that opens doors to persuasion and emotional guidance without force. Their moods can be weaponized subtly. A flicker of hurt or withdrawal can prompt guilt, reflection, or compliance in others. Loyalty is a double-edged sword. They reward allegiance but quietly punish perceived betrayals, often through withdrawal or calculated distance. Their intuition is a compass for social navigation, allowing them to predict reactions and manipulate outcomes with precision. Cancer's manipulation is rarely overt. It flows through care, concern, and emotional intelligence, making it nearly invisible. They know when to speak, when to remain silent, and how to frame information to maximize impact on the heart. Even their protective instincts can serve strategy, some truths while letting others slip, guiding perceptions subtly. They excel in creating scenarios where others feel like they are choosing freely, when in fact, Cancer has shaped the path. The depth of their emotional insight makes them formidable manipulators. What is hidden beneath the surface often carries the most weight. Cancer's influence lingers long after words are spoken. Their subtle orchestration of feelings leaves lasting impressions, quietly steering hearts. To underestimate a Cancer is to ignore the power of the heart as a tool of strategy, intuition, and influence. For behind every tear or smile lies a carefully calculated truth. 1. Scorpio, the ultimate manipulative mastermind. Scorpio operates from the shadows, orchestrating events with a precision that feels almost supernatural. Scorpios are masters of psychological insight, able to read motivations and fears with chilling accuracy, turning knowledge into influence. They build deep emotional bonds, not just to connect, but to understand every vulnerability that could later be leveraged. Trust is earned, yes, but once given, it becomes a tool Scorpio can wield with subtle force, bending situations without detection. Their intensity is both magnetic and disarming. People reveal truths they would never share with anyone else, unwittingly feeding Scorpio's strategic mind. Scorpio's patience is legendary. They wait for the perfect moment to act, knowing timing is the difference between subtle control and overt conflict. They understand the power of secrecy. The things left unsaid often carry more weight than any declaration, and Scorpio uses silence as a weapon. Emotions are their playground. They can provoke, soothe, or unsettle with a mere glance, a phrase, or a carefully crafted action. Manipulations often feel invisible, like currents beneath calm waters, guiding people's choices without their awareness. Revenge, loyalty, love, fear. Scorpio knows how to balance these forces, applying pressure at exactly the right intensity. Their intensity isn't chaos, it's controlled, purposeful, and strategic, making their influence subtle yet unstoppable, even when appearing transparent. Scorpio keeps layers of mystery, each one a potential lever for persuasion or redirection. They are capable of extreme patience, allowing situations to unfold naturally, then intervening in ways that feel inevitable to others. Scorpio's charisma amplifies their power, making others not just follow, but believe they are choosing their own path. They often operate in moral, gray zones, bending ethics and expectations to achieve outcomes that serve their vision. Their presence alone can influence decisions, shape environments, and quietly orchestrate alliances or conflicts. Scorpio doesn't just manipulate, they transform reality around them. A shadow architect shaping what is seen and unseen, leaving an indelible mark on everyone in their orbit. The zodiac holds many secrets, but only a few wield them like a fine blade. Which signs have you encountered that left you questioning reality itself? Comment below, like, subscribe, and explore our other videos to uncover the hidden depths of the stars.